Yo, let's dive into a story that's been overlooked for far too long. Let's talk about Indigenous people, their history, their struggles, and their resilience. Canada, Australia, the USA, they were there first. Indigenous communities thrived on these lands, for thousands of years living in harmony with the land. Then, everything changed. Colonizers arrived. They brought with them a wave of disruption. They wanted land, resources, power. They saw the land as something to be owned and exploited. What happened? Brutal conflicts, forced removals, cultural destruction. Entire ways of life were upended. This wasn't ancient history, folks. This is recent, within living memory. This happened just generations ago. Our grandparents, our parents, they witnessed these changes, and the impacts still felt today. The scars of the past are visible in the present. We're talking about loss of land, language, and culture. These are not just abstract concepts, they are the essence of identity. We're talking about systemic racism and discrimination. These issues are deeply rooted and pervasive, but listen up, this isn't just about the past. It's about the ongoing struggle. It's about understanding the present, recognizing the resilience and strength of Indigenous communities. Because guess what? Indigenous communities are still fighting. They are standing up for their rights every single day, fighting for their rights, their land, their cultures. Their fight is our fight, and their history is our shared history. Let's head up north to Canada, Diverse First Nations communities thrived for millennia. They had their own governments, languages, spiritual beliefs. Then came the colonists. Treaties were signed, often under duress, land was taken, promises broken. Residential schools were set up with a twisted goal to erase Indigenous cultures. Children were ripped from their families, abused, forbidden from speaking their languages. It's a dark chapter in Canada's history, but amidst the pain, resilience, First Nations are reclaiming their languages and cultures. They're fighting for self-determination, for their rightful place in Canadian society. Down under in Australia, we're talking about the Aboriginal people. For over 65,000 years, they've been the custodians of the land. Their connection to country is profound. They have stories, songs, dances that go back generations. Then colonization, land dispossession, massacres, the stolen generations. Children of mixed Aboriginal and European descent were forcibly removed from their families. The goal? Assimilation. Erase their Aboriginal identity. Brutal, right? But the Aboriginal spirit? Unbreakable. They're fighting for land rights, for recognition, for justice. They're keeping their culture alive, passing down traditions to the next generation. Section 4, Native Americans, a tapestry of nations and struggles. This section delves into the rich and complex history of the Native American peoples who have inhabited the North American continent for thousands of years. Their stories are woven into the very fabric of this land. Now let's talk about the USA. The land we know today as the United States was once home to a vast array of indigenous tribes, each with its own unique culture, language, and traditions. These tribes lived in harmony with the land, developing sophisticated societies long before European settlers arrived. Native Americans, a diverse tapestry of nations, each with its own language, culture, and history. From the Iroquois in the northeast to the Navajo in the southwest, these tribes contributed immensely to the cultural and historical landscape of North America. They faced wave after wave of European settlers. The arrival of these settlers marked the beginning of a tumultuous period for Native Americans, as they were forced to confront new challenges and threats to their way of life. Treaties were made and broken. These agreements, often signed under duress or through deceit, promised peace and coexistence but were frequently violated, leading to further displacement and conflict. They were forcibly removed from their ancestral lands, pushed onto reservations. The Trail of Tears, a tragic and harrowing journey, saw thousands of Native Americans suffer and die as they were relocated against their will. The Wounded Knee Massacre. These are not just names in history books, folks. They are stark reminders of the brutal realities faced by Native Americans during this dark chapter of American history. They represent unimaginable suffering and loss. Entire communities were decimated, cultures were suppressed, and the pain of these events still resonates deeply within Native American communities today. But Native Americans never gave up. Despite the immense challenges, they continued to fight for their rights, their land, and their heritage. Their resilience and determination have been a testament to their enduring spirit. They fought back through activism, through legal battles, through preserving their traditions. From the American Indian movement to modern-day legal victories, Native Americans have continually sought justice and recognition. They're demanding that their voices be heard, that their stories be told, and that their contributions to this nation be acknowledged and respected, that their treaties be honored, that the promises made to them be fulfilled, and that the injustices of the past be addressed, that their sovereignty be respected. The journey of Native Americans is one of resilience, strength, and an unyielding quest for justice and recognition. Section 5. Echoes of the past, challenges of the present. Here's the thing, the struggles of indigenous peoples in these countries, they are deeply rooted in history and continue to affect their daily lives. They share a common thread, a tapestry woven with resilience and pain. The legacy of colonialism continues to cast a long shadow. We're talking about poverty, health disparities, and systemic inequalities that persist to this day. Lack of access to education and opportunities is a significant issue. We're talking about racism, discrimination, and the ongoing fight for equality. And the fight for basic human rights is far from over. Indigenous communities are still battling for recognition and respect. But here's the other side of the coin, resilience. Despite the challenges, Indigenous peoples have shown incredible strength and perseverance. Indigenous communities are rising up, uniting to protect their rights and heritage. They're reclaiming their languages and cultures, ensuring that their rich traditions are passed down to future generations. They're demanding justice for past wrongs and a better future for their children. The journey is long, but the spirit of these communities is unbreakable. They're advocating for environmental protection, for social justice, for a world where their voices are heard and their rights are respected.